what's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, all on my lonesome today, because we gotta talk about the entire situation surrounding the NXT Knockouts Women's World Championship, because it's gone through quite a change in the past, I want to say the past 48 hours, but the past week or so, depending on how wide you want to set your scope. Now, we had Victory Road last night, and there's a lot of stuff to come out of Victory Road. I might touch on some of the other things that came out of that show at the end. Or hell, right now, Judas Macias helped Kazarian become the new international champion at the cost of Steve Macklin. And we got the announcement that Leon Slater at Bound for Glory will be defending his title against Javon Evans from NXT, which is gonna be an insane match. Anything that anybody has ever marketed AEW to you on will be beaten in that match in a month at Bound for Glory. And that's huge. But it's not the big story that came out of Victory Road, and it wasn't even necessarily the big story going into Victory Road. Like, let's back up a step. If you had checked Wikipedia a week ago, and you look at the Bound for Glory card and you look at the Victory Road card, because one leads to the other, obviously, it was supposed to be Ash by Elegance defending her title against Masha Slamovich with Indy Hartwell as the referee, because the winner was going to go on and defend the title against Indy Hartwell at Bound for Glory. Huge moment for Indy Hartwell. She earned her #1 contendership for Bound for Glory a while ago, and it was just a matter of who the champion was going to be. Kind of like a Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber type of scenario. But yeah, Ash versus Masha, winner to face Indy at Bound for Glory. Indy was going to ref tonight. I'm repeating myself now. Nice, clean cut, simple, off to the races we go. Sort of a last step before WrestleMania, or in this case, Bound for Glory. It was a Friday show. It wasn't as hyped up. We know the drill. Now, come to this week, and all these accusations that came out about Masha Slamovich. I'm not going to get into those accusations here. On my previous solo pod, I went into a lot of detail on my thoughts on the Masha Slamovich accusations. Most of them, I'm sure, are not popular. If you want to hear what I think about it in more detail, go check out the previous pod. But for better or for worse, Masha Slamovich was taken off of the card, therefore the match was removed from the card. And we thought they were just going to scrap it. We thought it was just going to push forward to Ash versus Indy without this middle step. And then on the night, a graphic went up and it said Ash by Elegance has a huge announcement at Victory Road. And you're thinking, okay, Ash by Elegance is a heel. The other people in her stable are in a tag title match later on in the card. She's going to come out and say, oh, you know, my opponent isn't here, so raise my hand. Or she's going to do an open challenge. Or she's going to come out and cut a braggadocious promo, and Santino's going to bring out a surprise opponent for the night. Or something lightweight, but still worth having the champion out there, to cut their promo, to be interrupted. But that didn't happen. Unfortunately for fans of Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance, however you know her, she came out to make the announcement that she's no longer fit to defend the title, forfeit the title, told the world in a very serious, very out of character promo, obviously, that she's stepping away from wrestling because I think she said something along the lines of sometimes life has other plans or whatever. Didn't go any further into it, which is an indicator to me, and should be an indicator to you, to maybe just let it be and not dig. Now, it could be she has personal issues. It could be that she has injuries to deal with. It could be that she's had something happen in her personal life. It could be a contractual issue. It could be something where she just feels like stepping away from wrestling. But my entire point, priority in this message is she didn't tell you, which means she doesn't want to tell you. And I think there needs to be a little bit more of that in wrestling. So-and-so is off TV right now. Well, clearly, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the company in this case. It could be TNA, it could be AAA, it could be ROH, it could be AEW, it could be NXT, it could be WWE, it could be Noah, it could be New Japan, it could be MLW, it could be up here at my Fed, Destiny. Check it out, your Spaz Phoenix bucket list. It's fine. They were on the card. They're not anymore. Instead of bitching about it, instead of, oh, the booker must have fucked it up, maybe follow that up with, damn, that's a bummer. I hope they're okay. That's the simple thing of it. We learned back in the Bray Wyatt situation. Oh, WWE's just, you know, they're shitting all over him. They're like, he came back and he's got this great gimmick and they don't even put him on TV. And then we got the ultimate bad news about Bray Wyatt. So in this case, I just want to land on the whole Ash by Elegance said, you know, she's not fit to compete. She's not fit to defend the title. She's stepping away from wrestling. And if she decides that that's all you get as a fan, or it's all we get as a fan, then that's what you get. She's stepping away. You know, thank you for your time served, or whatever politeness you want to put into it. But that's it. Now, in a wrestling context, you took a championship match from a pay-per-view, you've eliminated the challenger, for better or worse, and now the champion has eliminated themselves. So all you got left is the referee in Indy Hartwell, who has a #1 contendership coming up at I'm not going to keep saying WrestleMania, I promise, has a #1 contendership lined up for herself at Bound for Glory for a championship now that doesn't have a holder. After Ash by Elegance, Dana Brooke, however you refer to her, made her speech, made her announcement, she, in the ring, big hug from Santino Marella, big hug from Carlos Silva as she handed over the title. And Santino Marella went on to announce that the women's tag title that was supposed to be the Inspiration versus the Elegance brand was being postponed until Thursday because they were going to have a battle royal, and that match is happening right now, but they were going to have a battle royal, and there was going to be 2 winners, and those 2 winners were going to face each other later on in the night for the vacant title. Indy Hartwell still as the referee. Now, creatively, is that a bit janky? Yes. Does Indy Hartwell need to be in there now? Because the reason she wanted to be in there is because she had been involved with the other 2 previous combatants. Yeah, did Indy Hartwell need to be still labeled as the referee? Possibly not. I like Indy, so it doesn't really bother me that much. And they did the Battle Royal thing that I really started to like. I told you guys I went to the MLP show not too long ago here in Toronto, where they did the style of Battle Royal, where it's over the top rope elimination until the last 2, and then the last 2 becomes a regular match. They took it one step farther and said, no, this Battle Royal is going to have 2 winners, and that singular match is going to happen later on in the night, which is absolutely fine. Now, there was only one NXT participant in the Battle Royal because the Battle Royal happened right stat now. And I think they did a good job to sell how out of the blue this was, because a bunch of women just came down to the ring. There was no pomp and circumstance. There was no entrances, no ring music, no nothing. They just sort of... You could picture backstage, it's like, okay, we need to throw this Battle Royal together. Everybody get out there, everybody get out there. Which is kind of funny, because I saw it coming under a lot of criticism this morning, because, oh, look, TNA doesn't have any production, it's just a shoddy, like, they just shoved everybody out the door. Yeah, to sell the immediacy of the rug pull of the, hey, we had to come up with this on the fly. I think it was actually a decent production choice to have all these ladies out there, and the whole time the whole Battle Royal is going on. And you got teams in there. You got the Elegance brand in there as a team. You got Inspiration in there as a team. You got Jody Threat and Danny Luna, who are no longer a team, but still sort of connected. There was one wrestler in there whose name I don't know, and even the commentators were like, well, they just eliminated whoever that was, which isn't great for that person. I hope we find out who they are sooner or later so that they can get the credit that they deserve. But the entire time they talked about what a different element KELANI Jordan being in the Battle Royal was. Now, on the one hand, these companies, these brands, NXT and TNA, have been coexisting for a while now in almost like a talent share situation. So somebody from NXT showing up to be in this Battle Royal wouldn't necessarily have been a big deal if not for the fact that TNA had done the big invasion on Tuesday. So now she becomes kind of the person to watch. It kind of telegraphed the finish a little bit. The 2 winners of the Battle Royal were KELANI Jordan, obviously, and Lei Ying Lee, the former Xia Li, who used to be in NXT, who used to be in WWE, who was never, ever used to her full potential in WWE. I'm a WWE guy, and I'll be the first person to tell you that. But you're going to get Lei Ying Lee versus KELANI Jordan later on in the night with Indy Hartwell as the referee, and they went over folks like Ash by Elegance, M by Elegance, like I say, Jody Threat, Cassie Lee, Jessie McKay, I think I said Jody Threat already, but Zaya Brookside was in there, Danny Luna, Jody Threat, etc. It wasn't a very big battle royal. It was kind of an off-the-cuff thing. They had 2 matches to pull, so they had to put 2 more matches. I think that's why they did the battle royal and the final match separately. Beyond the point. So we go on later on in the night. Lei Ying Lee goes on to face Kelani Jordan one-on-one with Indy Hartwell as the referee. Kelani Jordan gets the win. And I thought, okay, there's a couple things going to happen here. First of all, people are going to say, oh my god, TNA got buried again, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to give that any breath today because it's not that kind of day. Kelani Jordan, again, it becomes an interesting thing because it was quickly debunked, but there was some stuff going around sort of Thursday, Friday-ish online that she had been, after the news about Jasmine Nix, being people trying to reframe that as she got released when really she just saw a contract and said no, tried to double down and be like, oh look, WWE's at it again, they released Kelani Jordan. Well, I don't think they did because they just sent her to TNA to win the TNA Knockouts Championship. Great match between the two of them, by the way. Lei Ying Lee is amazing. Indy Hartwell, not a bad referee, had her custom indie referee gear, which was kind of cool. As a character, Indy Hartwell's another one that I'm really happy that she landed in TNA and is kind of finding herself. Much in a similar way that I said when Cora Jade was still in NXT. I made the point multiple times that it seemed like she was finding herself much more on her jaunts over to TNA than she was at sort of the home base in NXT. So super happy for Indy Hartwell. Lei Ying Lee is killing it in TNA already. Kelani Jordan picking up the title is newsworthy for a whole bunch of reasons. You solidify that it is in fact going to be Kelani Jordan versus Indy Hartwell at Bound for Glory for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Now, a couple different things I want to talk about here as far as Kelani Jordan winning. First of all, good for her. She's been platformed pretty damn well in NXT, but I think a lot of people still underestimate her quite a bit. She had the distinction of being the first ever women's NXT North American champion, which is kind of cool. She's only ever the second NXT talent in this current exchange to pick up the TNA Knockouts Championship, so that's a notch on your belt as well. The first one being, of course, JC Jane. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. What didn't hit me until after the match was over was sort of the closed circle of Kelani Jordan picking up this belt that Ash by Elegance just had to relinquish, because when Ash by Elegance was still Dana Brooke in NXT, she kind of had Kelani Jordan under her wing as sort of a protege / tag team partner. Like, they were both these really, gymnastic, athletic, acrobatic people. So they were connected at one point. So the whole, they both went over to TNA to do it, but they kind of had a passing of the torch moment. Obviously, Ash by Elegance came out on the ramp after the match to give her a hug and a celebration and all that kind of thing. So that part of it was really nice. Whatever Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance, is going through at the moment, I'm pretty sure there was a cool come back round the houses type of moment for her in that. So that part of it was really nice. And she came out, when she started her speech at the beginning as well, she's like, I have to talk to you guys about something serious. Immediately broke character. The fans in TNA get that, and they do it. They allow for that stuff to happen. Really early days, NXT used to do the same thing when what was it? Sasha and Bayley had the last great 4 horsewomen match, and they all broke down after the match was over, and everybody was crying, and all the 4 horsemen were out there, and everybody was hugging, and it was kind of an out of kayfabe, out of character moment, and everybody just said, yeah, this is something different, we're just going to let it happen. Very similar response to Ash when she came out to cut her promo at the beginning of the night. Very, very cool from the TNA crowd in attendance there, so kudos to them. They were in Canada. I don't remember where they were in Canada because I didn't write it down, but they were in Canada. Canadians are stereotypically nice, I guess. So for the real life thing, Kelani Jordan gets another cool thing on her resume, another cool moment in her career that will, when your career is over and they start telling your story, what are the things they're going to talk about? Well, it might be a night like tonight. Another real life thing, very cool moment for her and Dana Brooke to have up there on the ramp. As I say, you know, teacher, student, protege, mentor, even if it was just in kayfabe terms, I'm sure they were friends of some description. So that was kind of nice to get Dana Brooke out on the stage one more time to get a cheer from the fans that maybe she's not going to see again. Also a really nice thing. But dive back in to the kayfabe side of things. It's kind of a cool revenge story, isn't it? The whole purpose of TNA invading NXT was prefaced on a bunch of people in TNA being tired of Trick Williams carrying around their TNA championship. Okay, well, you invaded our show. We'll grab another title. That's a pretty cool story to tell as well. So, Kelani Jordan, sort of being happy to be there, kind of respectful with Lei Ying Lee during the match. Didn't present herself particularly heelish. Like I say, had the really cool, nice moment with Dana Brooke. I don't think she necessarily went to TNA with like all these bitchy intentions, but TNA as a brand, TNA as a company, as an opposing force can say, yeah, we can take any of your titles at any particular time. This is why. And it kind of fixes the problem a little bit. I was really happy when Ash by Elegance won the title because I thought she's busted her ass for a long time and she deserves to be a world champion of some description. The downside of that was TNA Bound for Glory should be the pay-per-view where TNA gets all their glory back. NXT has 2 of our titles, we'll get them both back in one night. When they put the title on Ash by Elegance at an NXT show, I thought, you kind of watered that down a little bit. Happy for Ash. Don't let me deviate from that in the slightest, because that is the bigger picture. Happy for her. You know, stories can be stories wherever you want them to be. You still got Trick Williams with the other belt. But I said, okay, you kind of cut that story by half, or the story that I thought you were telling by half. Now with Kelani Jordan being the champion again, as I say, not even necessarily a heel, so to speak, but you can revisit that, oh my god, they're back to having 2 of our belts, and we're going to get those titles back. That's a really cool story for Bound for Glory, especially when you've got Javon Evans, again, by no means a bad guy, but potentially walking away with that X Division title in, I'm sorry, is going to be a Match of the Year candidate. So we've gone from, it was supposed to be Ash versus Masha with Indy as the referee, setting up Indy's match at Bound for Glory. We lost Masha Slamovich, for better or worse. We don't know what the results of that investigation are going to be. We lost Ash by Elegance for reasons we don't know, because they're her business, not ours. We pulled a battle royal out of our butts. We pulled a TNA versus NXT singles title match out of our butts. We gave a TNA title back to NXT, at least in the short term. We had a cool moment for Dana Brooke and Kelani Jordan. We had a nice moment for Kelani Jordan in her young career, and we've got all kinds of storytelling potential going forward for the NXT TNA Invasion angle, now that they've trademarked the name Invasion, which, again, I will double down, should either happen in Madison Square Garden or Scotiabank Arena. But that's just me saying that. It's been a heck of a week for that particular belt, that TNA Knockouts Women's World Championship. It kind of got thrown up in the air. Kelani Jordan is where it's landed at the moment. We know where it's going at Bound for Glory. For a company that's always been known for their women's division, like before NXT was a thing, before WWE pulled their heads out of their asses, etc., 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 for this much turmoil to be existing and surrounding this particular title could be huge for TNA. Really want to know what you guys have to say. It's the first time in a long time that I've done like a single news topic type video like this. It's way shorter than most of the pods you guys usually get from me, but I thought it was worth talking about today just a little bit. I wanted to see a few people's reactions before I got in here, and most of them are as toxic as you can imagine, but I really do want to hear what you guys have to say, so throw it down in the box below or hit me up on X at Spaz Phoenix. But until the next time, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.